Hello, I'm James Burleson, the Public Information Officer for the North Glen Police Department. This week's report will cover the dates of May 6th through May 19th. On May 6th at 9:30 in the morning, officers responded to a single vehicle crash. Upon arrival, they observed a vehicle on its side after crashing through a fence. Witnesses provided responding officers with the description of the driver who had fled the scene of the crash on foot. Officers conducted a search for the suspect and were able to locate him a few blocks from the crash. The vehicle had been reported stolen from Denver less than an hour earlier. The driver was charged with careless driving, third-degree motor vehicle theft, driving without a license, and leaving the scene of an accident. On May 10th, just after 7 p.m., officers were dispatched to reports of shots fired near Huron Street and Kennedy Drive. Responding officers obtained suspect information of a heavyset male wearing a white t-shirt and a second male in dark clothing pushing a shopping cart. The victim further related the heavyset male had a handgun. Officer Gillette located two males matching the suspect's descriptions near the corner of Kennedy and Huron. One suspect was pushing a shopping cart. The suspects were detained, and through investigation, officers learned the suspects had stolen an unattended scooter outside of a liquor store near 115th and Huron. The owner of the scooter pursued the suspects to recover his property. Upon confronting the suspects, a physical altercation ensued. One of the suspects produced a firearm and fired the gun in the air 3 times. The firearm was recovered and discovered to be a blank starter pistol. The suspect is facing 4 charges, including felony menacing, possessing a weapon on school grounds, discharge of a firearm, and possession of a controlled substance. On May 13th, just before 10 p.m., officers were dispatched to a call to check with the well-being of a female reportedly screaming, yelling obscenities, and threatening to kill people. When officers arrived on scene, the woman tried to run from officers. Officers detained the female, who became combative. The woman emitted a strong odor of alcohol and refused to cooperate with officers. The suspect was advised she was under arrest for disorderly conduct but resisted arrest. Officers were able to place her into custody after a short struggle. The woman was transported to the Adams County Detention Facility following processing. On the morning of May 14th, North Glen officers responded emergent to an officer-involved shooting involving the city of Thornton. Officers arrived on scene and provided assistance to Thornton officers with scene security, traffic control, and identifying witnesses. Officers provided preliminary assistance until the investigation could be taken over by the 17th Judicial Critical Incident Response Team. On May 14th at 3:08 p.m., officers responded to a vehicle crash at the intersection of Community Center Drive and Malley Drive. Upon arrival, officers located 2 damaged vehicles in the intersection. One driver said he was trying to make the yellow light when the driver in front of him hit the brakes. Through investigation, officers determined the at-fault driver was operating the vehicle while under the influence and caused the accident. The second driver suffered an injury and was transported to the hospital for treatment. On May 15th at 10 p.m., officers near Boondocks observed a vehicle crash into a piece of construction equipment. As officers approached the vehicle to check on the occupants, all 3 fled from the vehicle on foot. 2 suspects were quickly apprehended, and the third suspect was eventually apprehended. Simultaneous to the crash, ADCOM began receiving reports of a disturbance in progress at the Stone Mountain Apartments. Officers responded to the apartment, where they found several vehicles leaving the complex. Officers contacted a male who identified himself as a victim of a robbery. The victim was injured during the robbery and was transported to the hospital for treatment. Officers were able to determine the suspects who crashed the vehicle were involved in the robbery. Officers located evidence of a robbery, including guns and face masks. All 3 suspects are being held on charges related to aggravated robbery, burglary, and assault. Crime data and trends can be found on our website, www.northglen.org/police. Be sure to follow us on social media for the latest from the North Glen Police Department.